Yo, what's going on, guys? Estee McCrawly came with another video. Today we got some more double battles on the battle spot featuring the Mega Tyranitar team that I've made. The battles have been a lot of fun. It always surprises me how bulky and powerful this thing is at the same time. Uh, Tyranitar is just a beast, really high. I say it every time, really high base special attack, or really high base stats. Excuse me. So this first battle we have was against, I assume, a Japanese opponent. Yeah, well, I remember it was a Japanese opponent. Had a team of Greninja, Blaziken, Superior, Crobat, Crustle, not Dwebble, and Hitmonlee. So you get a water starter, a fire starter, and a grass starter. And he has two fighting types, Hitmonlee and Blaziken, and who knows with Greninja it technically can become a fighting type as well. You never know with that. So it's a little bit scary for Tyranitar, but I decided to bring him anyway since he'd still be good against the Crobat, and also depending on if I can get some icy winds, I could do some damage to the Blaziken, and possibly the Greninja as well if it goes for an ice or something. So the Crustle, I'm not too familiar with its weaknesses. If I remember correctly, it's weak to water. I remember I looked it up. It had 3 weaknesses. The only one I remember is water. I think it even might be weak to rock. I'm not exactly sure. So that was just the only thing here in the team preview, was the fact that he had 2 fighting types and a potential third with Greninja. So I had to play very careful with my Tyranitar. And Talonflame was like a good option here to bring, but at the same time, so was Cresselia. I mean, the reason why I have Cresselia and I have it hold a Rocky Helmet is to be able to switch it in on a potential fighting type move into Tyranitar, especially against the Mega Kangaskhan, so that he takes double Rocky Helmet damage. So I'm going to go ahead and Mega Evolve here, and I go straight for the Protect. I wanted to see, I didn't know what kind of shenanigans I'd see, especially from this Crustle. So we do see the Greninja actually goes for the low kick. So I was like, okay, so it is carrying that fighting coverage, which is good coverage. And I do get an Icy Wind off. Not going to do much damage, but it is going to lower the speed, which is going to be nice. Greninja's quite the speedy Pokemon. And we do see the Shell Smash. After I was like, this thing actually might go for a Shell Smash, which it does. But the good thing is it lowers its defenses, so if I can get a hit off on it, it'll be an easy knockout. So all in all, a decent turn 1. I'm not going to say it was a good turn 1 because he did get the Shell Smash off, but I also got the Icy Wind off, and my Tyranitar didn't faint. So here I was deciding whether or not I wanted to switch in, because I was like, chances are Tyranitar would be able to live a low kick from Greninja since it's not that physically offensive. But he ends up going for a Rock Slide, so he might have been predicting that switch. But at this point, it wasn't too big of a deal for me to keep Talonflame. And I come in here. I went for Psychic there onto Greninja. Unfortunately, I flinched, so I'm not able to pick up the knockout. But now I'm going to be able to come back in with Tyranitar and get another Protect off, and this will give me a second chance. Excuse me, I come in with Excadrill here because I know I'll outspeed. So here I make a mistake, or I go for Earthquake, which is not a mistake. I didn't think I'd knock out the Crustle, and I was like, oh, well, I actually knocked it out. I was like, oh, yeah, it's at -1 defense. So I knew I was going to knock out the Greninja. And so here I go for Icy Wind there. I was thinking about going for Safeguard because I didn't know what he had in the back. I didn't want Excadrill to get burned. So I made a mistake there. We do see he has Crobat and Superior. So at this point, not a very big risk. The thing, I switch out here because I'm banded. So Earthquake is not very effective on Superior, and it doesn't even affect Crobat. So he ends up going for Reflect, which is really, really good for him since what I have left on my team are physically offensive. So he gets up to Reflect. I end up getting up the Safeguard, which probably isn't going to be... I just wanted to do it just in case. No point in risking anything. So at this point, I want to knock out the Crobat, because if I knock out the Crobat, I'll win, since Excadrill has X-Scissor. So he goes for a Leaf Storm into Tyranitar, which I'm okay with. It does just under half, but after that +2 boost, he's going to be able to knock me out next time around. And I go for that's why I go for Rock Slide. I just want to pick up the knockout on the Crobat. Rock Slide isn't going to pick up the knockout as expected, but here this is actually what ruins my opponent. He has a red card, which is going to force out Tyranitar and bring back in Excadrill. So and I go for a Psychic here, and no need to risk an Icy Wind miss. An Icy Wind probably wouldn't have even knocked him out. But even though super effective against both this Pokemon, I just wanted to go for the damage I needed to knock that out. So you see the Sands, this was like the worst time for him to red card me out, because the Sand runs out. So now I just get a free switch in back into Tyranitar, and that's going to reset the Sand, so that Excadrill is going to be able to easily outspeed the Superior. So he's going to go for the Leaf Storm, which is fine. Probably into the Excadrill slot, but all I wanted was the Sand to come back up. He can be at +20 attack right now if I'm faster. That's all that matters. So with Cresselia, I go for a Psychic here. I figured it would do more damage, and I didn't want to risk the miss. So we're going to see he actually has Citrus Berry, but after the damage he's going to take from Sand, I predict that the X-Scissor would have done like 75% to him. So at this point, I pretty much won, since he doesn't have any spread moves. So with how much Psychic did and the Sand and stuff, even if that didn't take him out, Psychic probably would have. And then if not, the Sand I'm pretty sure would have. So I guess I don't know if we would have. Well, at the same time, so let me explain. I did get lucky with the red card, but I still think I would have won, because I went for a Psychic into. So I had my Tyranitar out. So the next turn, so I said the turn I got red carded is the turn I also knocked out Crobat. So I knocked out Crobat with Rock Slide, and then I got red carded out, and then I hit it with a Psychic. So then Excadrill came out. So if he didn't have red card, the next turn it still would have been Tyranitar, Cresselia. And granted, yes, the Sand would have run out, but then that turn I could have gone for a Crunch, Icy Wind. So he would have gone for the Leaf Storm into Tyranitar, but I also would have gotten the Icy Wind off, which would have lowered Superior speed enough to where Excadrill still would have been able to outspeed. So the only way I could have lost that is if he wasn't red carded and I missed the Icy Wind. So I felt like I played pretty well around on that one. Got kind of lucky. It was kind of funny to see the red card blow up in my opponent's face instead of helping him. But next battle, my opponent had a team of Kangaskhan, Gengar, Arcanine, another Greninja, Sableye, and a Escavalier. So I know a thing or two about Escavalier. Very, 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 very slow. Interesting to see. Well, I shouldn't say interesting. A lot of times people do run Gengar and Kangaskhan on the same team, and one of them's the Mega, and they choose to decide what to bring according to the opponent's team. So lucky for me, my opponent didn't have any fighting types, but obviously the Kangaskhan is going to be carrying either Power Up Punch or Low Kick. The Arcanine could be carrying Close Combat, another Greninja, so he could be carrying another fighting type move. So I didn't really know what to expect from my opponent this time around. He leads with Gengar Kangaskhan, so I was like, okay. One of them's not a Mega Evolution, I suppose. But I was thinking he was going to lead with Kangaskhan, so that's why I decided to go with Rotom here to be able to burn, and then I can crunch the Gengar and pick up a knockout. And even if he's focused Sash, the Sand will knock him out at the end of the turn. So, but I wasn't expecting him to lead both. I was thinking he'd lead one, but not both. So I Mega Evolve here, and my opponent also Mega Evolved. So I end up going for a Protect here. Obviously, I'm going for the Will-O-Wisp, but I don't want to risk a miss. I don't want all this, all that. So I end up missing, and he goes for the Low Kick straight away instead of for a Fake Out. And he actually sets up the Trick Room, and I was like, whoa, okay. Interesting. So not something you see every day. A fast Pokemon like Gengar running Trick Room. Oh, I should say a fast, frail Pokemon like Gengar running Trick Room. But it would make sense since he does have the Escavalier. So I end up switching Tyranitar here into Cresselia so that in case I miss the Will-O-Wisp again, he will. Even if I don't miss the Will-O-Wisp, if he hits into Cresselia, he's going to take a bunch of damage. So I do land the Will-O-Wisp. What's interesting is I went first last turn, and I went first this turn as well. So it must have been a speed tie. But we do see the double edge, so he must have been predicting the switch. Good for my opponent. So he's going to take some damage. That's actually not that much recoil from double edge, to be honest. I guess I don't have too much HP, but I was still like 100. So Kangaskhan has been taking quite a bit of residual damage here. We've got him already to 2/3 health. So here with Cresselia, I protect. I'm expecting, or just in case he decides to Mega Horn, and he actually goes for the Mega Horn into Cresselia, and that's a huge, 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 huge problem for my opponent. Because now he's burned. I mean, the thing is it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna work out perfect. You're gonna pick up a double knock and go for double edge on the Rotom and Mega Horn into Cresselia. But the thing is if Rotom goes first, or if Rotom gets the Will-O-Wisp off before you get your attack off, you just get put into a terrible, terrible, terrible position. So what I would call a mistake by my opponent right there. He just got his Escavalier burn, which is probably his biggest offensive threat on the team. So I bring back in Tyranitar here, and I go for Protect. I'm expecting the Kangaskhan to go for the low kick again. We actually see Sucker Punch, so I was like, oh, he got lucky. I went for an attack this turn around. But you're going to see he's actually going to do, like, what is that, 77 damage in total, and he's going to go down to... So I didn't even attack Kangaskhan. He went down the sand to burn into Rocky Helmet. So here he actually double targets on the Cresselia. I guess he really didn't like it. But you see the Mega Horn doesn't even knock it out. So Cresselia putting in some good work here. And I go for a Psychic instead of an Icy Wind because we're under Trick Room. Not like it would matter too much, but still did a little bit more damage than the Icy Wind would have. So Escavalier is already at 50% health, which is fantastic, but he's going to eat up Citrus. Interesting item choice, but I assume it's more of like a bulkier Escavalier. So now we're going to see Sableye, and I'm like, okay, this thing is known for its Will-O-Wisps, Toxics, all these shenanigans. We actually ends up going for a Foul Play, and Necrosine is like, oh, I don't think that's going to take me out, but it did. I was actually, when he gets a crit, so that might have been why. I honestly don't think he would have knocked me out, since my attack is really low and my defense is really high. But I go for a Rock Slide here to damage both. Unfortunately, I missed the Sableye, but I do get some decent damage off onto the Escavalier, and of course, this is what, I don't know, it's one of the hard things about using a weather team, or a team that relies on the weather so much, is a moment like this, when the weather runs out. So in the Twitch Dimension return the normal, so I'm like, it's probably not too big of a deal anyways, since his Pokemon are probably going to be slow. So he gets another Avoid with Sableye. I was like, oh man, if this thing's holding like Bright Powder or something, I'm going to be a little upset. But I ended up going for double Rock Slide. I didn't want to go for an Earthquake, even though it would have done more, just because I was predicting this burn right here. So I was like, I didn't want to Earthquake and then Protect because I'd be banned and I'd be stuck in Earthquake. Tyranitar probably could take an Earthquake, but I was with the Gengar in the back. I was like, this will just get me neutral damage. It'll help me get damage across. So he's focusing down the Excadrill. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I mean, it is strong, but it's not really, especially since it's burned, it's not really that big of an offensive threat. And since I'm going, the thing he doesn't know I'm banded, I guess, but I still, like with Tyranitar, his Rock Slides are Stab, so here he's finally gonna get a Will-O-Wisp off. I think he should have prioritized the Will-O-Wisp over the Recover last turn. I guess in case I did go for the Rock Slide, but I felt like that was his only chance, was to keep his Gengar around as well. So at this point, it's pretty much like a recover stall for him. He's just going to keep on going for recover and letting the burn take me out. So this is my last turn with Excadrill, and I was like, okay, well, the thing with me being burned, if I can just get one critical hit, it's going to be over for this guy. And I was like, oh, there's my critical hit right there. And I was like, hopefully this Crunch can do enough, because if not, I'm going to lose the game. And it's getting close, and we got it. So, even though I had 2 Pokemon left, the thing Excadrill was going to fade at the end of this turn, and that was pretty much the turn to decide it all. Unless if I could have gotten a crit in the future with Crunch, which would have done enough. But that second one, definitely, like, it was unfortunate. Well, I guess it was. Well, no, it was, and it wasn't unfortunate that the sand ran out. I don't think it would have made too much of a difference in the outcome of that game. My opponent made some pretty big mistakes. Burns played a huge factor in that game. I was able to burn his 2 physical attackers, the Scavalier and the Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan went down. I didn't even attack it. It just went down to Sand, Burn, and Rocky Helmet. That Sableye got a little annoying there at the end. So I guess we got a little bit lucky there, but still pulling through. I always bring like the same 3 Pokemon: Tyranitar, Cresselia, and Excadrill, just because Cresselia helps with some of Tyranitar's weaknesses, especially fighting, and it gets those icy winds off to be able to let Tyranitar do some pretty decent damage in the later game. So that's pretty much going to be it. If you guys got any suggestions for future team, or even for this team, go ahead and let me know. If you want to battle me, also go ahead and let me know. But I don't really know what else to say. I haven't been uploading these past few days. Been getting a little lazy, so I'm going to be setting some more goals for myself to be able to start coming out with videos every day again for you guys. But that's pretty much it. That's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.